Number 1. The Hidden Vault Beneath Ross Island. In the frigid, wind-scoured expanse of the Ross Sea, where Antarctica's ice shelves grind against ancient bedrock, a discovery was made in 1959 that has never appeared in any official geological survey or declassified Cold War archive. During Operation Deep Freeze, a joint U.S. Navy and scientific expedition ostensibly focused on atmospheric research, a team drilling near Ross Island encountered an anomalous subsurface cavity at a depth of 873 meters. The borehole, equipped with seismic resonance sensors, returned readings inconsistent with natural ice formations or volcanic strata. Instead, the instruments detected regular geometric patterns, metallic echoes, and temperature fluctuations suggesting artificial insulation. Classified reports, later leaked by a retired naval cryptologist in 2003 before his sudden disappearance, described a reinforced titanium alloy door embedded within the ice, sealed with symbols resembling Proto-Sumerian cuneiform fused with unknown glyphs. Attempts to breach the structure were halted by direct order from the Joint Chiefs of Staff. Satellite imagery from the following year shows the site completely erased, replaced by a fabricated crevice and layers of compacted snow indistinguishable from the surrounding terrain. Yet, in 2011, an independent glaciologist analyzing gravitational anomalies in Antarctic ice cores noted a persistent void precisely at the coordinates of the original drill site, exhibiting thermal retention properties impossible for natural ice. No scientific team has been permitted within 50 kilometers since. The U.S. National Science Foundation lists the area as geologically unstable despite zero seismic activity. This deliberate erasure, combined with testimony from 3 former Antarctic logistics officers who claim to have transported non-terrestrial materials from the site under armed guard, suggests the vault contained more than mere machinery. It held evidence that rewrote human origins, and someone ensured it would stay buried. Why would the most remote continent on Earth host a structure built with alloys not invented until the 21st century? And why would multiple governments, including Soviet observers during the height of the Cold War, agree to silence on a find that defied known physics? The door beneath Ross Island remains closed, but the truth it guards may already be leaking out through the cracks in our accepted history.
Number 2. The Vatican's Forbidden Dead Sea Cache. In 1952, during the chaotic aftermath of the Arab-Israeli War, a Bedouin shepherd stumbled upon a network of caves near Khirbet Qumran, containing not only the famed Dead Sea Scrolls, but a sealed alabaster chest hidden behind a false wall in Cave 11. Unlike the parchment fragments later studied by international scholars, this container held 7 copper scrolls etched with coordinates, chemical formulas, and star maps that did not align with any known celestial configuration from the Second Temple period. The chest vanished within 48 hours of its discovery, spirited away by agents of the Pontifical Biblical Commission under direct orders from the Vatican's secret archives. Declassified French intelligence cables from 1953 revealed that the scroll's metallurgical composition included trace isotopes of iridium and osmium, elements not naturally present in antique copper, and its inscriptions referenced a Chamber of the Watchers located beneath the Temple Mount, accessible only during a specific heliacal rising of Sirius coinciding with a solar eclipse. More disturbingly, 3 of the 4 archaeologists who handled the chest before its confiscation died within 5 months, one from acute radiation poisoning, another from a neurological collapse resembling rapid-onset Creutzfeldt-Jakob disease, and the third in a staged car accident in Haifa. The Vatican has never acknowledged possession of these artifacts, yet internal correspondence leaked in 2017 by a former archivist revealed a standing directive signed by Pope Pius XII himself forbidding any mention of Qumran Deposit 11 in theological or historical discourse. Independent researchers who attempted replication of the star maps found that when overlaid with satellite LiDAR data of Jerusalem's subterranean tunnels, the coordinates pinpoint a sealed shaft beneath the dome of the rock, directly aligned with the ancient Gihon Spring aqueduct system. In 2006, a clandestine excavation by Mossad, using ground-penetrating radar disguised as sewage maintenance, confirmed the existence of a hollow cylindrical chamber at that location, but Israeli authorities immediately classified the findings under national security protocols. The scrolls, if authentic, imply that a pre-Essene sect possessed advanced astronomical knowledge and possibly materials science centuries ahead of their time. Why would the Vatican, a repository of ancient texts, choose to suppress not only the physical objects, but even the knowledge of their existence? The answer may lie in what the scrolls describe not as prophecy, but as instruction manuals for technologies that should not exist in the ancient world.
Number 3. The Siberian artifact that defies radiocarbon dating. Deep within the Altai Mountains, near the tri-border region of Russia, China, and Mongolia, a team of Soviet geologists conducting uranium surveys in 1968 uncovered a metallic disk embedded in a stratum of Precambrian rock dated to over 600 million years ago. The object, roughly 30 centimeters in diameter and 5 centimeters thick, bore concentric grooves, micro-etched circuitry resembling fractal geometry, and a central aperture lined with crystalline filaments that emitted faint gamma radiation. Initial analysis at the Novosibirsk Institute of Geology concluded the disk was composed of an alloy of aluminum, scandium, and an unknown element with atomic properties defying the periodic table. Attempts to carbon date organic residues trapped in its surface returned inconsistent results. Some samples suggested an age of 12,000 years, others 250,000, while a third batch yielded no decay signature at all, as if the material existed outside conventional time. The discovery was immediately classified under Project Zarya, a KGB initiative reserved for non-human artifacts. All field notes, photographs, and the disk itself were transferred to a subterranean vault beneath the Ural Mountains, and the excavation site was dynamited to simulate a natural rock slide. In 1991, during the collapse of the Soviet Union, a former KGB archivist smuggled out blurred photostats of lab reports describing the disk's surface as reactive to lunar cycles and emitting coherent microwave pulses during equinoxes. Independent verification seemed impossible until 2015, when a Russian mineralogist analyzing drill cores from a nearby mining operation found microscopic shards of identical alloy embedded in 580-million-year-old shale. The shards exhibited the same anomalous isotopic signature and fractal patterning. More troubling, when exposed to low-frequency sound waves, they resonated at 18.5 Hz, the same frequency linked to human anxiety, visual hallucinations, and temporal disorientation in controlled studies. No scientific journal has published peer-reviewed research on these findings, and all specimens have been seized under Russia's 2007 Cultural Heritage Protection Law, which grants the state absolute authority over objects of ambiguous origin. The implications are profound. If an artificial object truly predates complex life on Earth, it forces a radical reconsideration of history, not as a linear human narrative, but as a cycle punctuated by interventions from an intelligence that operates beyond our temporal framework. And if that intelligence left more than one artifact, the Altai disk may be merely the first warning we were never meant to find. Number 4. The Vanishing Expedition of Mount Kailash. In 1991, a joint Chinese-Indian scientific team comprising 18 geologists, physicists, and archaeologists entered the restricted zone surrounding Mount Kailash in Tibet to study anomalous magnetic readings and undocumented cave systems rumored to exist beneath the peak. Mount Kailash, revered as the axis mundi in Hinduism, Buddhism, Jainism, and Bon, has never been summited, a taboo respected by both locals and governments alike. The expedition, officially sanctioned by Beijing under the guise of glacial erosion mapping, carried ground-penetrating radar, magnetometers, and drone prototypes capable of navigating high-altitude turbulence. On the seventh day of their survey, all communications ceased. Search parties dispatched by the Chinese military found the base camp intact, tents still pitched, food uneaten, recording devices running, but not a single human trace. The drones, recovered weeks later frozen in glacial ice, contained corrupted footage showing the mountain's north face pulsing with faint bioluminescent patterns during a geomagnetic storm. More disturbingly, one audio log captured a team member whispering in Mandarin, "It's not a mountain, it's a shell." The Chinese government declared the team lost to sudden altitude-induced psychosis and banned all scientific activity within 50 kilometers of the peak. Yet declassified Indian intelligence files released in 2020 contradict this narrative. They revealed that 3 days before the disappearance, the team transmitted a partial 3D scan of a subterranean structure extending over 12 kilometers beneath Kailash, an octagonal lattice of unknown material emitting low-level chronoton radiation, a theoretical particle associated with time dilation in quantum physics. Even more startling, thermal imaging showed consistent internal heat signatures inconsistent with geothermal activity, fluctuating in sync with solar flares. Since then, multiple satellite missions, including NASA's GRACE and ESA's SWARM, have confirmed the mountain's gravitational field deviates from regional norms by 0.7%, as if its core were less dense than surrounding rock. Pilgrims continue to circumambulate the base, unaware that the sacred path may skirt the entrance to a chamber housing technology or a consciousness that bends time itself. The silence surrounding the 1991 expedition isn't just bureaucratic cover-up, it's an admission that some doors, once opened, cannot be closed. And Mount Kailash may not be a monument to the gods, but a lock placed on something far older.
Number 5. The Oceanic Archive of the Mariana Trench. In 2004, during a classified deep-sea mapping operation conducted by the U.S. Naval Oceanographic Office, sonar arrays aboard the USNS Murray detected a vast geometric complex resting on the Challenger deep floor, nearly 11,000 meters below sea level. The structure, spanning over 2 square kilometers, exhibited non-eroded right angles, symmetrical corridors, and a central spire emitting faint electromagnetic pulses at 7.83 Hz, the Schumann resonance frequency of Earth's ionosphere. Unlike natural hydrothermal vents or tectonic formations, the complex appeared deliberately constructed, with surfaces so smooth they deflected sonar like polished obsidian. Autonomous submersibles deployed for visual confirmation captured grainy footage of hexagonal tiles fused seamlessly together, inscribed with spiraling glyphs that matched no known human language yet bore eerie similarities to the Indus Valley script and the Rongo-Rongo tablets of Easter Island. Before full documentation could be completed, the mission was abruptly terminated by order of the Joint Undersea Surveillance Command. All data was seized and the coordinates were scrubbed from public bathymetric databases. However, in 2018, a Japanese deep-sea research vessel, the Chikyu, operating under civilian auspices, unknowingly passed within 300 meters of the site. Its passive acoustic monitors recorded a 47-second harmonic chime emanating from the trench floor, identical in frequency and modulation to the bloop, an ultra-low frequency sound detected by NOAA in 1997 and later dismissed as icequake noise.
Linguistic analysts who reviewed the 2018 audio noted that the chime contained embedded phonemes corresponding to ancient proto-languages associated with lost coastal civilizations like Dwarka and Mu. Even more disquieting, water samples collected near the site revealed microbial life with DNA strands containing synthetic nucleotides not found in any terrestrial organism, capable of metabolizing heavy metals and emitting low-level bioluminescence in complete darkness. The U.S. Navy denies the structure's existence, yet declassified budget allocations show consistent funding for trench anomaly suppression through front companies specializing in deep ocean acoustic dampening. If this archive is real, it predates all known human writing systems by tens of thousands of years, and may contain not just records, but active systems still broadcasting into the abyss. The ocean, it seems, guards its secrets not with depth alone, but with silence engineered to drown truth before it can surface.
Number 6. The Nazi Bell's Missing Core. In the final months of World War II, deep within the Wenceslas mine in occupied Poland, SS Obergruppenführer Hans Kammler oversaw the assembly of a device codenamed Die Glocke, a 9-foot-tall bell-shaped apparatus encased in thick ceramic shielding and filled with a viscous mercury-like substance the Nazis called Serum 525. According to testimony from Polish forced laborers who survived the project, the device was rotated at high speeds inside a reinforced chamber lined with lead and rubber, generating intense electromagnetic fields that caused nearby organic matter to crystallize and decompose within hours. Soviet forces captured the mine in March 1945, but found only empty casings, scorched wirings, and the desiccated remains of 7 German scientists fused to the walls like human mummies. The bell itself and its core had vanished. What remains hidden from history is not the bell's existence. That has been corroborated by declassified MI6 reports, Polish resistance logs, and post-war interrogations of Kammler's aides, but the fact that a fragment of its central rotor was recovered in 1952 by U.S. Army intelligence from a clandestine laboratory beneath Bern, Switzerland. This fragment, no larger than a wristwatch, exhibited properties that defied known physics. It absorbed all incident light, registered absolute zero thermal emission, and, when placed near photographic film, imprinted images of unknown landscapes resembling no place on Earth. The fragment was transferred to Project Paperclip scientists at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base, where it allegedly influenced early designs of stealth and inertial navigation systems. Yet, in 1958, the fragment disappeared from a Level 5 containment vault during a power outage, leaving no trace except a single frame of security film showing a silhouette matching Kammler's build, despite his official status as presumed dead since 1945. Declassified CIA cables from the 1960s reference ongoing efforts to locate Bell-derived materials in South America, Egypt, and Antarctica, suggesting the technology was not destroyed but dispersed. Most chillingly, spectral analysis of the fragment's residue, leaked by a Los Alamos technician in 2009, revealed isotopic ratios matching those found in the Siberian disk and the Copper Dead Sea Scrolls, hinting at a unified, non-human technological lineage that both the Nazis and ancient esoteric orders had stumbled upon. The bell was never just a weapon, it was a key. And someone still holds the lock.
Number 7. The Amazonian Library of Petrified Light. In 2001, a team of Brazilian anthropologists working near the Javari River Basin documented an uncontacted tribe's oral tradition describing a stone forest that speaks in dreams. Following the coordinates embedded in their chants, researchers discovered a clearing ringed by 37 monolithic stelae, composed not of rock, but of a translucent glass-like material that refracted sunlight into complex interference patterns. When touched, the stelae emitted low-frequency vibrations that induced vivid waking visions in observers. Visions of star systems, extinct megafauna, and architectural forms resembling no known human civilization. Locals called the site Yivi Maran A, the memory of the First World. Brazilian military units dispatched under the guise of environmental protection sealed the area within days. All photographic evidence was confiscated, and the anthropologist's field notes were redacted by the National Indian Foundation. Yet one researcher, Dr. Elisa Moura, managed to smuggle out a single crystalline shard before her lab was raided. Her unpublished analysis, recovered from a hidden cloud server after her mysterious death in 2003, claimed the material was solidified photonic matter, light captured and stabilized in a crystalline lattice through unknown means. Spectroscopic scans showed the shard contained layered interference records, like a holographic hard drive, encoding terabytes of visual and acoustic data in its molecular structure. Even more astonishing, the data appeared to update. When exposed to moonlight, new glyphs formed on its surface, matching astronomical events occurring weeks in advance. Independent verification seemed impossible until 2019, when a satellite operated by the European Space Agency detected anomalous light emissions from the exact coordinates of the stone forest during the South American solstice. The emissions pulsed in Fibonacci sequences and ceased precisely at dawn. Indigenous elders, interviewed under strict anonymity, say the stones awaken only when humanity approaches a critical threshold of destruction, and that their last activation coincided with the Toba supervolcanic eruption 74,000 years ago, which nearly wiped out the human species. If true, the Amazonian library is not a relic but a sentinel, preserving warnings across epochs in a language written in light itself, and its silence may soon end. Number 8. The Cairo Time Anomaly of 1973. On October 17, 1973, during the height of the Yom Kippur War, a classified Egyptian military unit conducting underground radar sweeps beneath the Giza Plateau detected an energy surge emanating from a sealed chamber directly beneath the Sphinx's left paw. The signal, recorded as a 14-second burst of coherent tachyonic radiation, theoretical particles that move faster than light, coincided with a localized time dilation event. Wristwatches worn by the 6-person team stopped for 83 seconds, while their heart rates and metabolic functions continued normally. Surveillance footage from a nearby security camera, later obtained by a French journalist before his assassination in Marseille, shows the team frozen mid-motion during the anomaly, surrounded by faint concentric ripples in the air. The Egyptian government immediately quarantined the site, blaming electromagnetic interference from Israeli jamming, but declassified KGB archives reveal that Soviet advisors embedded within Egyptian intelligence reported the chamber contained a rotating crystalline matrix that activated only during planetary alignments involving Mars, Jupiter, and the star Aldebaran. More disturbingly, 3 of the 6 soldiers involved developed accelerated aging syndromes within months, wrinkled skin, cataracts, and osteoporosis, despite being in their 20s. Their medical files, leaked in 2012, show telomere degradation consistent with exposure to chronoton fields, a phenomenon only theorized in quantum physics decades later. Satellite thermal imaging from 1998 and 2005 captured identical heat blooms beneath the Sphinx during similar celestial configurations, suggesting the chamber remains active. In 2009, a ground-penetrating radar study led by Dr. Zahi Hawass was abruptly terminated after detecting a hollow space 21 meters below the surface, but the data was declared inconclusive and never published. The truth may lie in what ancient Egyptian texts call the Hall of Records of Thoth, said to contain knowledge before the flood. If this chamber is real, it is not merely a tomb or temple, it is a chronometric device, possibly built by a precursor civilization that mastered temporal engineering, and its reactivation during wartime hints at a darker purpose, not to preserve history, but to rewrite it when humanity strays too far from its appointed path.
Number 9. The Himalayan Codex of Living Ink. In 1938, during a British survey expedition in the remote Spiti Valley of northern India, a monk from the Tabo Monastery presented geologist F. Spencer Chapman with a set of palm leaf manuscripts said to have been breathed into existence by the mountain itself. The pages, bound in yak hide and sealed with lacquer made from glacial moss, contained flowing script that shifted when viewed from different angles, glyphs rearranging into new phrases, diagrams evolving into three-dimensional models of celestial mechanics. Chapman, initially skeptical, documented how the ink responded to human breath. Exhaling near a passage describing lunar eclipses caused the symbols to darken and pulse in sync with the moon's phase. He smuggled 3 leaves back to London, where they were analyzed at the British Museum. Chemists found the ink composed of organic compounds fused with microscopic particles of meteoric iron and a protein structure resembling extremophile bacteria from deep-sea vents. Within weeks, the leaves began to decay, but not before producing a faint electromagnetic field that disrupted nearby clocks. Fearing contamination, museum officials incinerated them. The remaining codex vanished with the monk during a blizzard that killed 8 porters but left no tracks. For decades, the story was dismissed as colonial folklore until 2007, when a Nepalese climber discovered identical palm leaves in a crevice on Mount Kanchenjunga. These were seized by Indian intelligence, but not before a single high-resolution scan leaked online. Linguists identified the script as a Proto-Tibetan hybrid containing mathematical constants like the fine structure constant and the golden ratio embedded in its syntax. More unnervingly, when the scanned images were subjected to AI pattern recognition, they generated predictive models of seismic activity that accurately forecast the 2015 Nepal earthquake 11 days in advance. The codex, it seems, is not merely written, it is alive, adapting its message to the observer's intent and the planet's condition. Monastic traditions claim it awakens only when the sky bleeds fire, a phrase that aligns with historical sightings of atmospheric plasma events preceding major disasters. If the codex is real, it represents a form of biotechnological communication far beyond human invention, one that doesn't just record knowledge, but metabolizes it, evolving alongside the crises it seeks to avert. And somewhere in the icebound silence of the Himalayas, it may already be writing its next warning. Number 10. The Philadelphia Experiment's hidden payload. The official record claims the 1943 Philadelphia experiment ended in tragedy. A U.S. Navy destroyer, the USS Eldridge, allegedly rendered invisible for seconds before reappearing with crewmen fused into bulkheads or driven insane. But declassified ONR documents obtained under FOIA in 2014 reveal a far more disturbing truth. The experiment never sought invisibility. It was a test of temporal displacement using resonant electromagnetic fields based on Einstein's unpublished unified field theory notes, secretly acquired by Navy intelligence from Princeton. The Eldridge wasn't cloaked, it was briefly shifted 36 minutes into the future. During that interval, sensors recorded an anomalous energy signature aboard the ship, a cylindrical object,
1.2 meters long, wrapped in lead-lined linen, materializing in the engine room before vanishing upon return to the present. This object, designated Payload Theta, was not of American origin. According to log fragments redacted until 2022, it bore markings matching the copper Dead Sea Scrolls and emitted radiation consistent with the Siberian disk. The Navy's real panic wasn't over crew casualties, it was over the payload's sudden appearance, as if delivered from a future timeline. One surviving crewman, Carlos Allende, later claimed under hypnosis that the object hummed in Aramaic and displayed holographic star maps centered on Zeta Reticuli. The Office of Naval Research immediately scrubbed all references to the payload, but not before transferring it to a black site facility beneath Los Alamos. There it was studied alongside artifacts from Roswell and the Mariana Trench complex. Most chillingly, budget records show continuous funding for Theta containment through 2025, with recent allocations for cryogenic stasis and chronoton dampening fields. If the Philadelphia experiment succeeded beyond its designer's intentions, it did not just bend space, it opened a channel, and something or someone sent a message back. The payload remains classified not because it is dangerous, but because its contents confirm a terrifying axiom. History is not fixed, it is editable, and those who control the edits control everything.